I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're exploring the delightful and educational world of Where Do You Live? Little Max learns another big idea. It's written by a terrific author. Her name is Dr. Susan Augustine. This heartwarming children's book follows Max and his cousin Abraham as they learn about geography, family, and the importance of knowing your address. Packed with big life lessons, this story is a must-read for young readers and their families. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight TV app, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
This is such a charming story. It's an original story, and it's an educational story for children. What's the inspiration behind it?
Well, I'll tell you, it goes back to my days as being a teacher in the city of Chicago.
Mhm.
A lot of children, you would ask them, in what city do you live? And they'd say Chicago. And then I'd ask, well, in what state do you live? And they'd say Chicago. And then what country do you live? And they would say Chicago. So I thought,
Right.
hey, wait a minute. We've got to go back to geography. And geography wasn't taught back then. I mean, geography was taught to me as a child growing up
Mhm.
in the 60s,
Yeah.
but it seems to be absent now. It's important. It's
Yeah.
important.
It
And
is
I
important.
wrote the book because I don't want kids to get lost.
Yeah.
And they roam around the city of Chicago, but they don't know what street, they don't know their address. They
Yeah.
don't know that Chicago is in the state of Illinois, and they don't know that Illinois is in the bigger picture of the United States of America. They don't know the 7 continents, and they don't know their planets.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of gaps in education, and this is not this is not a dig on teachers, because I'm a former teacher and teachers work
Mhm.
very hard,
Yeah.
but there's only X amount of moments in the day where they can teach, and you can't get everything in. And this to me is just kind of general knowledge. I don't
Yeah.
know why we just don't mandate geography anymore. I'm all for teaching geography.
Exactly. And parents can obviously supplement at home. First of all, an early
Right.
lesson should be to your child where you live and how you can get home and your phone number and
Exactly.
all of that stuff.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I think this book will spark those conversations, no doubt. Now, part of this story is a superhero. And I know as a kid, I loved superheroes. So did you include a superhero because you wanted to make it relatable to children or appealing to children?
Absolutely. I included the superhero because I love superheroes too, and I know that they love superheroes. And this superhero, Captain Lovestar is his name. He only appears to children when children are doing good things. So
Hmm.
it's sort of okay, we're going to reward you for your good behaviors. And that's what Captain Lovestar is all about. He doesn't come to rescue kids and help. He comes when he sees that you're doing something really, really good, and especially when it comes to school. So I don't know. I thought he just popped in my head one day. I liked the name Captain Lovestar. I thought, well, I'm going to somehow squeeze him into this story, which really was kind of fun to do. You have to think like a kid,
Yeah,
like a
you do
child.
have to think
I
about a kid if
enjoyed
you're going
that.
to capture a kid's curiosity and imagination and get his or her attention, no doubt. And hopefully one day this book becomes so popular you can buy yourself a little action figure of Captain Love Star. That would be
That
awesome,
would be that
right?
would be wonderful. And in fact,
Yeah,
I started to make a little hand puppet of Captain Lovestar, but I'm having some setbacks with that. But
gotcha.
I've just got Captain Lovestar in my head. I'm just a big kid myself. I want
Same
to.
here. The best people in the
I
world are
like
people who
that.
refuse to grow up.
Yeah.
So I'm the
Right.
biggest kid of all. I'm a 6'5" giant kid. So that's a good thing,
I'm the
which is
same
probably
way.
why I like your story so much.
Oh, I'm glad you like the story. I'm like you can
Absolutely,
relate to it.
absolutely.
Yes.
Have you envisioned this as like an animated video or something for children?
I think that would be great. Yes. That could be in the works. Yes, I did think of it that way. And the other thing that I thought of, I wanted to model good learning strategies for
Mm,
kids. I wanted to model that, it's okay to ask your dad to help you for homework, with your homework. It's okay to ask your sister. It's okay to ask your mother. It's okay to do things as a family. And Max, he relates to his cousin, who's really like a brother to him, Abraham, his 12-year-old cousin that calls him on the phone on the first page, he
Mhm.
sort of acts like the brother because Max has three sisters. He's the only boy in the family, so
Mhm.
he's got to relate to his cousin, Abraham. And so I wanted to highlight the family,
Mhm.
the nuclear family, which isn't everybody's family, but it's okay to have a nuclear family. And some people aren't fortunate enough to have a mom or a dad at home, or they're raised by their grandparents. And
Yeah.
that's lovely too. But I wanted to kind of model the whole thing. And Max, the poor kid, he's got three older sisters. He's the only boy in the family. So he's always calling his cousin Abraham on the phone. I wanted to sort of connect that too. And I just sort of really modeled it like some of the teachers in the book are teachers, the names of the teachers that I worked with there. And I actually worked at Chopin School, and the book is
Mhm.
sort of built around Chopin Elementary School in the city of Chicago, which is a really nice school. And I mentioned some of the teachers, sort of changed their first name a little bit, but they sort of walk Max through this learning his address idea. For example, well, the PE teacher, Miss Peterson,
Mhm.
she actually has, you think, okay, we're going to go to PE, we're going to sit, we're going to bounce balls, we're going to move our bodies. But what Miss Peterson does in the story is she has the children come up with a song to name their seven continents, and they sing, and they have to um, um, put a dance to it as well. So they're putting motion and singing. So we're bringing in music. That's a brain strategy. Motion, that's another brain strategy. These are all good memory strategies. So Miss Peterson is sort of modeling that for them. And then Max goes home and talks to his older sisters about it. And then they had Miss Peterson a couple years ago in the same school, and they went through the little song and the dance so that Max sort of practices that with his sisters, and it's kind of a fun little family thing. So I thought I
Great.
would bring that in there too. There's it's not just studying words. You can sing words, you can say words, put motion to words, but you
Oh, yeah.
have to repeat words in your brain, and it's better if you repeat it out loud. That's a memory strategy. That's
Yeah.
something that he can remember. So I wanted to give them some strategies that they can remember for learning, make it fun, make it relatable. And I have to say, I'm not, my mother is an artist, and I just sort of dabbled around, but I illustrated all of the illustrations in the book. I didn't put that on the cover because I thought I better not let it. I don't know how these pictures are going to come out, but people tell me that they like the illustrations in the book, so I'm so happy. So this was the first time that I've ever illustrated a book,
Well, you
and
did
it's
a
not
great
perfect.
job. You not only wrote it, you illustrated it, and that saying it out loud technique is something I used with my kids. I used to, with
Great.
their spelling tests, I would teach them little
Wow.
rhymes and songs for it. If it was like because, or like
Wow.
Because,
I love it.
Because. And the
That's a
kids would sing it, and
I love
then
it.
boom, they would ace it, no problem, because when they went to write, they'd be
Right. Oh,
Because.
you're
Yeah.
right. It sticks in your brain. I love you're such a good dad. How
Thank you,
did you
thank you,
know that
thank you.
strategy? That is very creative of you. That's great. That's
Thank you.
wonderful. See, we need parents like you making it fun, and teachers too, just making it fun. Not that everything has to be fun, but fun makes you remember it more, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, that's great that you did that with your kids. I love that. I
Well, I
just love.
appreciate that. A couple of things happen. Something happens in Mrs. Peterson's class, and something happens at home that night. Tell us
Oh
about
yeah.
those two parts of the
Oh
story.
yeah. Well, in Miss Peterson's class, she's very excited that Max actually knows that he lives in the city of Chicago. But then she goes through the song about the seven continents with him. And then he takes that information home, happens to his sister, his older sister is sort of in the same room while he's thinking about it and studying about it. And she said, well, that's the song that I learned with Miss Peterson a couple years ago in her PE class. So she is really excited. So then Max said, "Well, will you help me study?" And so they study and sing the song together and dance to the song together. And then another sister sees that, a younger sister. She comes in and joins the little dance that they're having at home. So I just thought that was just a fun, cute thing to do. Like
Yeah,
that's what I would want to do as a kid. But you know,
absolutely.
unfortunately, I didn't have a dad like you that sang the song to me at home, which was great.
That's
That's a
fun,
fun thing to do. Yeah, I love
without a
that.
doubt. And you were
Yeah.
talking about what happened at home that night also. What happened at home in the book, in the story?
Oh, well, at that night when Max goes to bed, because he's so excited about his learning, in his sleep, this is where Captain Lovestar appears to him. Now, you know, Max is thinking, is this a dream? Is this reality? Well, you know, it can be fantasy, it can be reality, it can be everything. I want the children to use their imagination. But Captain Lovestar comes to him in a very loving, surprising way. And he's a known superhero,
Mhm.
according to the book. And Max is so surprised that he is getting this wonderful appearance with Captain Lovestar. And Captain Lovestar says, well, Max, I see that you're really trying to study and you're studying at home and you're studying with your family, you're studying with your sisters, that I reward you for this. And he rewards him, you know, by his presence. And then he and Max become good buddies. And he reinforces for Max that, yes, this is a wonderful way that you can use your imagination, use every part of your brain, get all of those synapses firing in the brain and make those dendrites and make those pathways. You can sing your homework, you can write your homework, you can draw your homework, you can clap out your homework, you can dance out your homework, talk about it, all these different strategies that I hope teachers and parents will see, and they can, you know, understand that there's more than just one way to teach a child something to do. And the more ways that you show them different modalities, the greater they will recall the learning. So that's sort of the thesis of the whole book
Oh,
is
that's
make
great.
learning fun and active. Yeah.
You're helping children learn, you're helping parents learn, they're learning together, they're learning about how to learn, which is very important as well. So, a lot of great lessons in this book. And you're envisioning this now as part of a series, right?
Yes, because the first, but you notice this book is the question, where do you live? Well, the first book was, what's my job? And
Mhm.
Max, of course, is the star of that book also. And he just didn't realize that, you know, working at the factory is a job, working at the clothing store is a job. You know, you can have your own business and have a job, you can be a writer and have your job, you can study engineering and have a job. There's various ways where every job has value, and
Mhm.
is teaching children the work ethic. And that and this really was another sort of immersion from my experience in inner city kids, where kids would say, well, what is a job exactly? Because
Mhm.
they might not have had, you know, both parents at home working, or they just didn't understand the concept of jobs can be joyful. You know, here I am, a teacher teaching you, this is a wonderful job that I love. Jobs can be just give you great satisfaction, not just for money. That a job is something that you give of your life to the world, you give service to life in some way, and even the tiniest way. Every job has value. So that was the beginning of this. And Max kind of learns that along the way too. But
Great.
Captain Lovestar comes in this book two for Max.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great. Both books sound terrific. Primarily today, we've been focusing on an amazing book that's been written by Dr. Susan Augustine. It is called Where Do You Live? Little Max Learns Another Big Idea. This heartwarming children's book follows Max and his cousin Abraham as they learn about geography, family, and the importance of knowing your address and a whole lot more, including strategies on how to learn that'll be helpful to both children and parents. This book is packed with big life lessons. It is a story that is a must read for young readers and families alike. And they will love Captain Love Star, without a doubt. I'm going to audition when you cast the film. I want to play Captain Love Star. I'm going to have to
You'd
put
be
on a few
great.
muscles, but what can you
You'd
do?
be great. Well, we'll give you a costume.
That sounds good. I'll wear like the 1950s Superman costume with the built-in muscles. There we go.
Great.
All
That's
right,
great.
Doctor, thank you so much for joining me here today on
Thank
Spotlight.
you. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much, Logan.
Pleasure's been all mine. I appreciate your wit, your wisdom, and your insight to the folks at home. I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.